They say history repeats itself, and that seems to be the case for Terence Bud Crawford. Oscar de la Hoya, I do believe he makes a strong case to be. Oscar de la Hoya, the golden boy himself, warned Terence Crawford years ago of his impeding beef with promoter Top Rank and Bob Arum. Stay tuned. We unpack. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Listen, 2022 is up. Make sure you throw a like on the video, smash the likes. It goes a long way further than you know. If you're looking for some of the cool tech and gear and gadgets that I use on the channel, then click the link in the description and check out my Amazon store. You can find some of that stuff. Now, history repeats itself. Terence Bud Crawford is currently engulfed in a lawsuit with none other than Bob Arum and Bob Arum's Top Rank. The New York Post was the first group that I seen to really detail this story and what was going on. You guys see it on the screen. It says Terence Crawford claims Bob Arum's, quote, revolting racial bias hurt his career, right? And there's some pretty heavy stuff. It says simply Bob Arum does not care about, support, or know how to promote black fighters, and he deliberately didn't build Crawford into a marquee pay-per-view star. Crawford, 34, famously split with Arum at the Sean Porter fight, November 2021, at the post-fight press conference, saying he wanted to become a free agent to better land his dream bout with a guy like Errol Spence. Now, in doing this, Terence Crawford has pulled out the big guns, and he's hired Brian Friedman and is suing Top Rank for almost $10 million. But the blows he rains on Arum in the lawsuit are far more damaging. It says the lawsuit filed in the 8th Judicial District Court in Nevada on Wednesday states, quote, you guys can see it, Crawford shines a spotlight on the systemic racism that runs through Top Rank. Top Rank's complete inability to properly promote black fighters, and Top Rank, Arum, and his stepson, Todd DeBuff's disparate treatment of black fighters, including Crawford, right? So this is some heavy stuff. Now, for more on the lawsuit, I've already made several videos. That's why it's up to you, the fans, to listen to the channel for the latest and greatest. I am your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. So, pretty heavy implications from Terence Crawford, and it's going to be interesting to see how this fares in court. You know, his testimony or whatever, and what he's alleging, because this is unprecedented. Now, ESPN, they also have an article documenting this. It says, Terence Crawford accuses Bob Arum of, quote, bias favoring white and Latino fighters in a lawsuit against Top Rank. Welterweight champ Terence Crawford filed a lawsuit Wednesday, former promoter Top Rank Nevada, alleging racial bias on the part of the company's chairman. Suit alleges the 90-year-old Bob Arum continues to make racist and bigoted statements and purposefully damage the reputation of black boxers. The suit also claims that Arum's sordid history with athletes of color, especially black fighters, and his bias favoring white and Latino fighters is well documented and known throughout the boxing world, and that Arum makes no secret of his deep-seated bias against black fighters, right? To which Bob Arum says, Bud Crawford's lawsuit against Top Rank is frivolous. His vile accusations of racism are reckless and indefensible. He knows it, and his lawyer knows it. I've spent my entire life working with black champions of black boxers, Latino boxers, and other boxers of color. I have no doubt the court will see Crawford's case for the malicious extortion attempt that it is. So this is the rebuttal to these accusations. It says, I have spent my entire working life as a champion of black boxers and Latino boxers. But keep in mind, Latino boxers. He says, spent my life as a champion of black boxers and Latino boxers, and Latino boxers, and Latino boxers, and Latino boxers. Speaking of Latino boxers, the biggest Latino star from America in the 90s was Oscar de la Hoya. Now, as I started this video, I said that history repeats itself. Boom, we got action. Oscar de la Hoya representing East LA, Los Angeles, City of Angels. This is the Los Angeles Times, right? March 29th, 2001. So we're going to take a stroll back. Some of you guys might have been children when this was out. So your boy like Ego, I'm like Roy Jones Jr. when it comes to this. Y'all must have forgot. Didn't I just say that? That's what it takes sometimes. That's what it takes something from me. I'm coming to get it back. You beat me. I say, okay, we had a good night. I'm still coming to get it back. Take it this. Honestly, I'm coming to get it back. Put some cola in the house, right? The Los Angeles Times. Dun, dun, dun. Y'all must have forgot. So I just highlighted it for you in yellow. De La Hoya religious shot shocks Arum by Steve Springer. We'll see what Oscar de la Hoya had to say. Former welterweight champion Oscar de la Hoya, I do believe, has escalated his ongoing verbal battle with his former promoter, Bob Arum, by injecting race and religion. And you guys see it on the screen in pink. De La Hoya is quoted as saying, quote, I don't have blue eyes and I am not white, but a Mexican arriving on the cusp of fame, De La Hoya told La Opinión, a Spanish language newspaper, and that is what they do not support. This is the golden boy himself, and he's saying top rank, that is what they do not support. Bob Arum's people hope that I lose because they can't see a Mexican above them. And also that he has defeated one of the biggest Jews to come out of Harvard. So I'm not really sure how he defeated or who this is referring to. I guess Bob Arum is of Jewish heritage and he graduated from Harvard. So I guess he's saying he defeated him by, separating and things like that. It said the remarks appear Saturday in Saturday's edition of La Opinión. It says, this is Bob Arum's rebuttal in 2001. He said, I'm really shocked. Arum, who is of Jewish faith and graduated from Harvard Law School, said on Wednesday. In the 8 years I was with Oscar de la Hoya, I never knew he harbored those kind of thoughts. He said, it's really shocking. I'm just disappointed. This is something that really cuts to the core. Oscar, he can lash out at me and say whatever he wants, but when he puts that word referring to Arum's religion, he knows what he is saying, that Judaism is irrelevant. So I don't know if he's accusing him of being anti-Semitic or whatever, but he continues, after 8 years with Arum as promoter, the article says, a period in which Oscar de la Hoya won titles in 4 weight divisions and earned in excess of $125 million in the ring, plus millions more in endorsements. De La Hoya broke his contract with the promoter in court 2 months ago. Oh, okay, so that's why he's saying he beat him, because I guess he got out of his contract. So, and it's funny that y'all must have forgot. I told you, history repeats itself. It's funny that Canelo broke his contract with Golden Boy, and that's Oscar de la Hoya. And then Oscar de la Hoya himself went through that with Bob Arum. So I started the video right by saying history repeats itself. So what De La Hoya went through as a fighter, he later put Canelo through, who was his fighter at the time. And then what Bob Arum went through with De La Hoya, he is now going through another battle with the same suspiciously similar accusations, right? Quote, he never, ever, ever said anything remotely like that before, Arum said. I never sense anything like this from anybody around him either, the father or the brother. That's what shakes me up. A stunner like this. I don't know Oscar. I may have thought I knew Oscar, but I don't know him. So Bob Arum is saying he don't even know who this person is, right? Richard Schaefer, De La Hoya's business manager, and it's funny to see that their relationship, he worked for Golden Boy and then ended up leaving Golden Boy and worked with Al Heyman, and now he has his own company, Pro Bellum, defended his fighter. Richard Schaefer said, Oscar has never made and would never make racial comments, Schaefer said. That's not the Oscar I know. When I'm with him, race never comes up. Schaefer acknowledged that he was not with De La Hoya when La Opinion reporter Ramiro Gonzalez interviewed the fighter. Despite the denials, Gonzalez said he stands behind his story. De La Hoya was unavailable for comment. So, according to this, De La Hoya went through, I guess you could say, something similar to Terence Crawford. I don't know about the last part, the part that is being taken as anti-Semitic, but it says, Arum's people hope I lose because they can't see a Mexican fighter above them, right? And he says, I do not have blue eyes and I am not white. So that's kind of what I want to focus on in this video. So Bob Arum he says, what a stunner. I'm shocked. I could have never imagined that Oscar De La Hoya would do me like this. And this is not the Oscar I know. So if he was shocked in 2001, then I'm curious what his thoughts are with Terence Crawford, who's basically saying it's the same thing. He's saying, or at least something very eerily similar. If you look at these articles, like Crawford is 34, seeking damages to be determined at a trial in excess of $5.4 million. Money the fighter claims he lost due to Top Rank's failure to deliver a second fight in year 2 of the extension that he signed in 2018, along with his inability to offer him a bout with Errol Spence. The suit claims that Crawford signed to fight Aegis Mean Machine Kavalauskas in 2019. The agreement would include a $900,000 payment if Top Rank didn't in good faith offer Crawford a bout with Spence by the end of 2020. He says, it is unfortunate that Top Rank did not treat Terence Crawford properly and in fact spoke out regularly against him, Crawford's attorney Brian Friedman told ESPN. Friedman also represented Mikey Garcia in a 2014 suit against Top Rank. So, it's just, I think I did the best job that I could by illustrating that history repeats itself. You had 2 Mexican fighters or Mexican-American fighters in Oscar De La Hoya. He said what he said, and he had to break free of his contract, won that legal battle, and then he landed big fights with like Floyd Mayweather. And then you have Mikey Garcia, who was in a contract and then hired this attorney to free him up out of his contract. And then now Terence Crawford has the same attorney to help him against the same people that helped Mikey Garcia. I mean, it's a dirty game, y'all. Y'all got to be careful about who you trust and who you don't trust. They eyes is on your money. It said, unlike other boxers bound to Top Rank contracts, Terence can assert his claims in court without Top Rank forcing him to sit out. Make no mistake, that is a game changer. So this lawsuit is also alleging that you will be punished like Mikey Garcia, right? Mikey Garcia was out for maybe over 3 years when he was beefing with Top Rank, Terence Crawford's old promoter, right? So Brian Friedman is saying, like, now that he's a free agent and he waited it out, we have a lot more leverage because they can't stagnate his career. And they're saying that Top Rank will play with your money and livelihood if you go against him. So these are heavy implications. It says Crawford claims breach of contract as well as fraudulent and negligent misrepresentation. He also alleges Arum made disparaging comments about him in an effort to harm his reputation and impact future prospects with the new promoter. The suit points out Arum's 2020 remark that he could, quote, could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on Crawford in his last 3 fights. So interesting stuff. Again, hopefully you guys see how I've illustrated that what Terence Crawford is going through with Top Rank and Bob Arum is nothing new under the sun. At least very similar comments have been made. I just read them. Oscar De La Hoya had, really dunked on Bob Arum, saying, I don't have blue eyes and I'm not white, but I'm Mexican, arriving on the cusp of fame. So that is what they do not support. These are Oscar De La Hoya's early 2000s words. He said, Arum's people hope that I lose because they can't see a Mexican above them. And then if you look at the Terence Crawford, he's alleging that Top Rank don't have that many black or people of color working for them. It says, because this is boxing, a sport with a checkered history, and because Bob is now dismissed as just a grumpy old white man, Arum continues to make racist and bigoted comments to damage the reputation of black boxers without any consequence. This is generally because boxers who are on long-term contracts with Top Rank fear if they speak up, they'll be placed on the sideline and get sidelined, as I mentioned. It says quote, this is a direct quote from the suit. Arum, he constantly mocks rival boxing promoter Al Heyman, who is a black man, and his relationship with black fighters, saying Heyman would steer a black fighter away from fighting Crawford out of a sense of brotherhood. So, nothing new under the sun when it comes to these claims. We'll see how it all plays out. I want you guys to leave me your comments in the comment section. So many people, including myself, try to warn Terence Crawford and told him that, these were some of the past people, the guys like Floyd Mayweather, guys like Mikey Garcia, guys like Andy Ruiz, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao. And if you look at Manny Pacquiao, his last fight with Top Rank, where he lost in his very last fight. So he won all these fights, but then loses to Jeff Horn in Australia, where Jeff Horn is from. Jeff Horn beats him some kind of way, even though I don't think Jeff Horn really beat him. And after the fight, if you look up the articles, then Manny Pacquiao, it's up to my promoter. I do believe. Manny Pacquiao said he believes he was set up. So it's just funny to see that fighters continually go through this boot loop of things. And like I said, history repeats itself. Many people have warned Terence Crawford, and I guess he had to find out his story the hard way. There's also this infamous NBF No Black Fighters list from a non-black person, Cameron Duncan, ex-manager of Terence Crawford, current manager of Jerome Boots Ennis. And I made a video about Boots Ennis would beat Terence Crawford according to that same manager. Check that video on the channel. So let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. But it would be interesting to see how this plays out. But history definitely repeats itself. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.